If you have a defined benefit pension scheme and you're considering retiring early, amongst all the paperwork you get from the scheme provider, there may be a table in there called the Early Retirement Reduction Table. And this is basically going to help you work out how much your pension reduces by if you do decide to take it early. So in this video, I'm going to explain what these early retirement reduction tables do and how you can use them, and also as to whether it's best or worth it taking a defined benefit pension early. My name's Carl Roberts and I'm a regulated financial advisor. So this video is specifically aimed at people with defined benefit pensions, otherwise known as final salary pensions. And let's just recap quickly what a defined benefit pension is. So unlike today's more modern pensions or personal pensions, which are called defined contribution pensions, where there's a pot value and your savings go into the pot and you can see what the value is every day, defined benefit pensions don't really have a value to them. It's a promise of an income from your retirement age by the sponsoring employer. And it'll be worked out based on your salary at the time you left the company or retired and how long you've worked for that company. And the sponsoring employer will guarantee to pay that income for the rest of your life once you've retired. So that's what a defined benefit pension is. So every defined benefit pension will have something called a normal retirement age. And typically this can be 65 or even as low as 60. Now, if you decide to take your defined benefit pension before the normal retirement age, then the scheme is going to apply a penalty to your pension payment. And they do this by way of reducing the annual income you'll get for the rest of your life. Now, because the defined benefit pension is going to be paid to you for the rest of your life, the scheme calculates what that amount due is linked to the normal retirement age. So if you do decide to take it early, they need to readjust all their calculations because that pension is now going to be paid to you for longer. So it wouldn't be fair to pay you the same amount of money that you would have get at normal retirement age by taking it a few years earlier. So an early retirement reduction table is going to allow you to work out just how much your pension income reduces by the earlier you take it. Now remember, technically you can take your pension, if it's a private sector defined benefit pension, from around age 55. Now this is rising to age 57 in the future, but currently age 55 you could in theory take your defined benefit pension no matter what the normal retirement age says. So in the early retirement reduction table, it's going to give you a percentage for every year that you take the pension earlier. And that percentage is going to allow you to work out what reduction you have to take off the annual pension income that you should be receiving. So a really quick example. So imagine if your pension plan's normal retirement age is 65, and you're considering retiring at 60, say, you might have a look at the early retirement reduction table and discover that for every year you retire before 65, your pension could be reduced by around 5%. So if you retire at age 60, your pension payments might be around 25% lower than if you had waited until age 65. And it's important to note that the actual reduction percentages can vary greatly depending on the pension plan and the specific scheme rules it follows. So some plans might have a more gradual reduction scale, while others might have different rules altogether. So let's put these percentages to some real numbers in another example. So if your normal retirement age for a pension scheme was age 65, and your projected pension income at age 65 was £18,000 per year, if the scheme operated a 5% reduction every year you took the pension earlier, and you decided to take the pension at age 60, it would mean a total reduction of 25%. So your starting pension payment, if you were to take the pension at age 60, would be £13,500 per year. So quite a drop from the £18,000 per year you would have received at age 65. And what that means is, if you start your pension at age 60, it's going to take you till about age 70 until you reached the £18,000 a year that you would have got if you'd have started the pension at normal retirement age 65. And that's applying a 3% inflation uplift every year. So on first looks, it looks like it's quite detrimental to be taking your defined benefit pension early. It looks like the income that you receive for the earlier pension is much lower than the higher income you would have get if you'd waited to normal retirement age. So does this mean you shouldn't really be taking a defined benefit pension early? Well, not necessarily. The actual income you get every year is not the whole picture. So let's go back to our example. So whilst you've suffered a significant income drop if you do take your pension early at age 60, going from £18,000 per year down to £13,500 per year, we need to factor in that you're actually going to be receiving 5 extra years of payments. So if we look at the cumulative total value of pension money you receive and track that through the years, you'll see that by the time you get to age 65, if you'd taken the pension early, you would have already received around £87,000 in pension payments. Again, that's if we apply a 3% inflation uplift to each year's payment. So if you'd have waited to age 65, you'll start off with your £18,000 per year. But if you'd have gone early at age 60, you'd have already had around £87,000 by this point. And if we keep tracking this on, interestingly, it's not until you get to about age 86 that the pension that you take later actually accumulates and you receive more in pension payments by waiting than had you gone early. So it's not just the annual income you need to focus on. You need to look at the total pension you're going to be receiving each year and add it all together. So it still might definitely be worth taking your defined benefit pension early. And it's not just the money figures that you need to look at. First of all, you need to think of your quality of life. If you hate your job or you're suffering from poor health, there may be valid reasons for retiring early, regardless of money. And if you can afford to retire early on the lower defined benefit pension income, then why not? It gives you more time to do all the things you want to do. You also need to factor in the other income you might have. You might have separate personal pensions as well. You might have ISAs, you might have savings. You need to look at the bigger picture. Don't worry and pinpoint just the defined benefit pension as to whether you retire or not. Look at your whole financial planning piece. If you are going to retire early from a defined benefit scheme, if the scheme's still in operation and you're still working for the same employer, you need to be careful because you might be then giving up valuable health benefits with the company. You might be giving up private medical, death in service. If you decide to take the pension scheme, even if you're with the same employer, they may stop some of these benefits. You need to ensure that you're prepared to cover these costs should you need to. And if you have a private sector defined benefit pension, there may also be the option of potentially transferring the value of that pension to a more modern normal personal pension, allow you to make more flexible withdrawals from your own pension pot. Obviously this is a complex area that requires professional advice, and I've done a few videos on this that you may want to check out as to whether it's worth transferring a defined benefit pension or not. So ultimately, there's no right or wrong answer as to whether you should retire early from a defined benefit pension scheme. But the early retirement reduction tables are just going to allow you to assess your position if you were to do that. But remember, it's not just about comparing the annual income that you would get at, say, age 60 to 65. You need to look much more wider and around your whole financial plan as to whether the decision to retire early is the correct one. I hope you found this video useful. Please don't forget to subscribe so you will get notified of all the videos that are coming up.